Hi everyone, welcome to another video from Explore the Outdoor. Very Christmassy special today. Got my little friend Santa Claus with me and I've come to have a look around the Northumberland coastline. So when we think about the Northumberland coastline, we imagine, you know, the huge layout of it, the golden sands, the crisp North Sea tides and the very historic landmarks that are associated with the Northumberland coastline. So we're talking about Alnwick Castle, Bamburgh Castle, sea houses, all them sort of places. And I've started my journey off. I was actually going to start it off in sea houses, but I've came through a lovely little village called Beadnell and I'm going to start my journey here. So let's go and have a look around Beadnell, and this is Explore the Outdoors Christmas special of the Northumberland coastline. Merry Christmas. So I begin my journey of the Northumberland coastline in Beadnell, and I stumble upon this old church. This church is called the Church of St. Ebert, and I thought, if it's open, let's go and have a look around inside. So the church itself was actually built in around about 1740, from what I understand, and then it was built again in 1792 with the spire being added on. It's got a very Gothic style window sort of architecture to this church, but it was beautiful inside and I really did enjoy it. At the heart of every town there seems to be a pub, and this was the Crest at Arms. It's got various links to main routes, so to Newcastle, Alnwick, etc. There was lots of public footpaths, lots of walks that you could go on as well. I had a little bit of a drive to the harbour area, and this car park was here. It was free for an hour and it was right on the beach. It was really windy, but just have a look at these views and they are so breathtaking, and no wonder people find the Northumberland coastline absolutely amazing. So as you can tell, it was a proper stormy day and the wind was blowing a gale. It made the sea look really rough but also beautiful and epic in its own way. Here the National Trust has the Beadnell lime kilns, and these were built in 1798. The lighting of the fires with coal in the kilns and the crushed limestone, and it was produced to make fertiliser for the nearby fields. So from there I took a short drive up to sea houses, and this was the next stage of my journey. It was very similar to Beadnell, but with a little bit more of activity and a little bit more going on. As always, it's this time of year. They were making a great effort in the Christmas lights and the Christmas decorations. And sea houses, I've been in the summer and it's just the same as in the winter. It's just a fantastic place. You know, you've got your fish and chip shops, you've got your local old pubs, which no doubt will tell a tale over the years, and it's just a fantastic place to go. So as you can see, here are some of the day trip boats that have now retired for the winter time and no doubt are getting ready for the summertime. You can book your tours by these little huts which stand in the harbour. The Farne Islands boat trips, which is a little bit further out the islands, but are well known for the puffin birds. This little fellow actually was following me for quite a bit and must have thought I had some food, but unfortunately I didn't have nothing to give him. But as I looked over the harbour wall, I could see how rough the tide was, so he was probably taking shelter in the harbour area. Well, what can I say? It's been an adventurous couple of hours, so I've managed to have a little bit of a walk around Beadnell, and from what you've just seen there, sea houses, and I am a bit windswept, but it's warm. It's eerily warm for this time of year, and for all it's really windy on these northern coasts, the temperature's quite mild. So my next stage of my journey is just a couple of miles up the road in Bamborough, and hopefully going to get some really good videos, some good clips of Bamborough, and I might have a wander up to the castle if it's open. So let's take a look at Bamborough. So I arrived in Bamborough, but I was pretty disappointed at the car parking prices here. The minimum you could buy was 3 hours for £6, and I kind of knew I wasn't going to be there that long. But I decided to go up and have a look around the castle and take advantage of the car parking fees. When you get to the top of the castle, there is a car park there for the castle, and it's only £4, so you know you could do that if you wanted to. There seemed to be quite a few people there at the castle today, and the first impressions of the castle were fantastic. You're met by this huge timeline of over 3,000 years of history of the Northumberland Coastline, and it's really informative. It's also worth noting that the Bamborough Castle does the blue light card, so instead of £17 it was £13.60 with the blue light discount. And they also had a Myths and Legends tour on, so let's go and have a look and see what was here.
This point became the first English vessel to fall to cabin fire. The men faced the
So I was back outside now to face the elements of the weather, and it was really blustery at the top of this hill. But the sheer magnitude of the castle and its architecture was fantastic. And then, surprisingly, at the bottom of the castle end, there was this transport museum, aviation museum, which was quite interesting as well. A little bit about the World War and how much of the Northumberland coastline had an impact on that. But I left Bamborough and headed towards Holy Island, and yep, I caught the tide just at the right time, so let's go and have a look at Holy Island. So before heading to Holy Island, I'd strongly recommend checking the safe to cross times, as the causeway does get flooded and the car will be engulfed with water if you get the wrong time. I recorded this time lapse of driving across the causeway just so you could get an idea of how far you have to drive. across it to get to the Holy Island, and as you can see, the amount of seawater still left on the road, you would be in trouble if you crossed at an unsafe time, so please check that before you go. Holy Island is such an isolated place, but it's also a tranquil place at the same time. It reminds me a bit of Beadnell. There is habitable people on there, homes, businesses, and I can imagine in the summer it's a very touristy place. It's got a nature reserve lookout and very popular with wildlife watchers. But the National Trust also has the castle on here, the Lindisfarne Castle, and English Heritage also has the Priory on here. I had a walk up to the castle and it was quite amazing. The views that I got along the coastline were fantastic. The information on the billboards were great. So I would definitely recommend a trip to Holy Island. And here's just some of the footage I got from today's visit. So, another town, another church. This church is the St. Mary the Virgin Church and roughly dates back to 1180. It's probably one of the oldest buildings on the island, according to the description from the National Trust. It sort of relinquishes the history behind St. Aidan, who was the founder of Lindisfarne and who was there as the main spiritual figure at that time. The church is absolutely fantastically built architectural wise, and I was the only person there and really savoured that moment. So that was Holy Island, and it was a pleasure to video this fantastic place. I've been a few times now and it does really live up to its name. It's so symbolic with religion artifacts and very religious figures here, and the history behind Lindisfarne and the castle and the priory is amazing, and I'm going to put a link in that in the description so you can read a bit more into Holy Island and a bit about the Northumberland coastline, the attacks from Vikings, the impact it had on World War II. So yeah, there's lots of going on the Northumberland coastline, and it's getting a bit dark now, so I'm going to go and see if I can see some Christmas lights. So it goes towards the bonus features on the channel. Let's go and have a look.
Bye.